Contrary to what the world and society tells you, you don't stop learning. Of course, your experiences give you the wisdom so you can help others, no doubt. But learning continues. And it's up to the person as to whether or not they want to receive that learning. So I'm going to go ahead and share one of life's lessons that I am continuing to learn. And this is one of Peachy's life lessons, number 1336. And I'm just making up this rule, but it's this. A name on a birth certificate does not give you exclusive rights and privileges to someone's thoughts and feelings. It doesn't. It doesn't matter if you're a parent. It doesn't matter if you're a sibling. It doesn't matter if you're a child. Every person is different. We're all born differently under different circumstances, different times and places in the universe, different circumstances, and we all have different purposes in life. You could be around a person 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. But that doesn't mean every second of every day they have the exact same thoughts that you do. They don't. That doesn't mean that they're going to interpret the stimulus that they receive the same way that you're going to interpret it. They may not see the sky the same shade of blue that you see it. They may not smell the odors coming from the kitchen the same way that you smell them. They may not hear and interpret the words that are being spoken the same way that you hear and interpret those words. And they may not process the messages that are being delivered at the same time that you are listening to those words. So please, don't assume. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of relationships have deteriorated and failed. People have failed to get along simply because it is assumed because of a name on a birth certificate that they're supposed to just automatically get along. Just because of a name on a birth certificate, it's supposed to be that way. Because no time has been taken to spend with one another as individual people. No time has been taken to understand the person. Oh, well, that's my daughter, that's my son, that's my sister, that's my brother. No time has been spent. No time has been taken to understand where that person has come from, where they're living, what they're doing, trying to understand their day-to-day, trying to understand their life, trying to understand what they're doing now, who they're involved with, what they like, what they don't like. Simple things that you would try to understand if you were trying to make a friend. If you were trying to befriend someone, things that you're trying to understand if you wanted to be involved with someone romantically, things that you were trying to understand with other people, but you wouldn't take the time to understand with someone you're biologically connected with. You assume because you have that piece of paper with that shared name that you don't have to go through that. And see, that's the problem. You figure you could just skip those steps. And see, that's where the problem comes in. And that's why you have situations where you have family members who know less about a person who is a blood relative, and people who are strangers know more about that person than a blood relative, because a blood relative had taken for granted that, oh, well, that's a relative, so, I have the upper hand. I know more. No, you don't. You know less. And when it's time for you to get together in a situation that involves a family matter, this is where the confusion comes in. Because you don't know where that person is coming from. You don't know what frame of reference that person has. When it's time to make decisions, there are disagreements. There's confusion. And in some cases, people are ostracized because they won't go with the program because the people who are involved don't even know who this person is. They don't know where they came from. They don't know what their moral code is. They don't know what their mental programming is as far as dealing with life. And then all of a sudden they're brought into a situation where they're supposed to come together with folks that they don't even know, and they're supposed to help make decisions involving a family matter, and they don't know. And all of a sudden they're labeled as crazy and this, that, and the other because they don't fit in. Well, maybe they don't want to fit in. Maybe they don't need to fit in. Don't know. So for those of you who figure it's not necessary to get to know that family member because of a name, a day and time is going to come where you're going to need that family member in a situation because of that shared name on the birth certificate, because of a shared name on a document. And you're going to have to come together and collaborate, and you're going to have to work together on a situation because that person is going to have to be the only person who is going to have to bring a resolution to that situation. They're going to have to be the only one. And by that time, that person is going to be they're going to be concerned because they're like, who is this strange person? I don't know who this is. What type of attitude do you think they're going to have? Do you think they're going to have a cooperative spirit because they don't know who you are? And you've made no effort whatsoever to try to bring some type of peace to the matter, to try to establish some type of relationship. Or are you just going to assume because of their sense of duty, familial duty, that they're just going to put everything aside? Yeah, that's a gamble. It really is. Don't take it for granted, people. Don't take that shared name on his birth certificate for granted and just assume that somebody's just going to come out of the woodwork. Oh, when such and such happens, everybody's going to come together, because you just don't know what's going through a person's head. You don't know what a person has been thinking all this time. You don't know what they're feeling. So the best thing for you to do now, starting today, is to go ahead and establish a relationship. Because that name on that birth certificate is not going to change. That situation is not going to change. The facts are the facts. It is what it is. So accept it for whatever it is and go ahead and establish a relationship. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace.